What's going on, guys? Greg here. Welcome back to the channel. We are here at Wistar Motors again. If you remember them, we did the TE37 install here about a month ago, and today is officially the last day that this car is staying stock height. It's actually 7 a.m. right now. I had to leave New York this morning at 4:30 so that we can get all of the parts installed in time for our wheel alignment appointment at 2 o'clock today. So we're on a little bit of a time crunch, so we wanted to get AJ here as much time as possible to do the install. So here are the line of parts that we have going in today. I'm just gonna start from the middle. So these are the Swift springs. Definitely hands down one of the best springs that you can put on for lowering as an alternative to coilovers. So these are for the FK8 Civic type bar, and they fit on the FL5 no problem. They do have FL5 specs coming out in a few months with upgraded spring rates, but that is really the only difference here. So we're gonna go with the Swift springs for now. These are the front control arm, anti-lift, and caster increase mounts. So these will replace the rear mounts of the front lower rear control arm. Being a front wheel drive car, all the weight shifts to the rear of the car when you're coming out of a turn and accelerating. So this is gonna help put down the power and give us some better lap times. Moving over to this one, these are the adjustable ball joints that go on the front, and they replace the OEM ball joints. And the difference with these is that you can actually adjust the camber with these. So we can go factory camber, and in increments of -1 degrees, we can go all the way up to -2 degrees of camber. And with the front guide pins removed, we can actually achieve about -3.7 degrees of camber in the front. The next thing we have here is from Magic Collar. So these are actually very similar to the Spoon rigid collar kit. They're a company based in Thailand, and these are the front and rear kit. And the Spoon ones usually come separately in just the front or the rear separately, and they're like 3 times the price. So we decided to go with the Magic Collar, and what these do is that these actually center the bolts on all of the subframe mounts on the front and rear. The subframe has a lot of space around the bolt that mounts the subframe to the body, and what these collars do is that they center the bolt and prevent the subframe from moving around on the car. So this is going to stiffen up the subframe on the front and rear. Moving on to the last piece, we have upgraded G-lock brake pads front and rear. So these are a racing compound pad, so they are going to be significantly louder, more dust on the wheels, which is not a good thing for these white wheels, but oh well. We went with the R10 spec for the front, which is not a crazy compound. They go all the way up to, I think, R18 or R20, and then the rears we went with the R8. So these are pretty safe to use on the street. They are, like I said, going to be significantly louder. We also went with the Motul RBF 600 brake fluids, rear sway bar end links, and the white line rear sway bar. So that is going to help us reduce understeer. We do have one last thing. These are the new stainless steel braided brake lines, front and rear, also for the FK8 type bar. So we're going to see if these will fit the FL5. So we have a lot to do today. All right, the car is going up. Can't wait. There's so many goodies in here. This car is going to feel night and day difference after everything is done here. And this car already performs fantastically as it is stock, but all of this is just going to enhance performance around the track and really make this thing an absolute beast. Check out this new t-shirt. Got it from Pit and Paddock at Turn 14 last weekend. But yeah, so as you guys know, Buy or Build, we are an automotive performance parts supplier. So everything you just saw in the video, you can order directly on our website. And because you're watching this video today, and if you're subscribed, you like this video, and comment if you wish, I'm gonna put a coupon code down in the description below to where you can get anywhere between 5 and 20% off your order. And I'm going to post a link in the description with all the parts that you can buy directly on the website, and the coupon code will be directly applied when you go to the website checkout. So when AJ is pulling off the wheels, and before we dig into doing suspension work, just wanted to give you a quick tour of this shop again. If you're new to the channel, this is Wistar Motors in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. They do automotive sales, brokering, performance installs, maintenance work, everything you name it. It's a one-stop shop. They do everything here. And as you can see from the collection of cars here, these are very, very high caliber cars that they work on. Everything they do here is just top notch. These guys are one of the best shops that I've ever been to. So I'm gonna bring my business here going forward. If you guys are in the area, make sure you check them out. Miles, AJ, John, Scott, they run this place. So we're starting with the rear end first. So right now AJ is taking off the rear sway bar, and we're gonna do the rear springs as well. So the FK8 sway bar, I don't think has been entirely confirmed to fit the FL5. So we're gonna find that out right now. But just putting it up side by side, they do look about the same. And we have the upgraded end links that we're gonna put on too. And it also includes the new rubber bushings and the grease that comes with it. So let's see how it does. So to do the rear springs on this car is actually very straightforward. Just remove that bolt, this swings down, and the spring comes right out. And then all you have to do is transfer over the upper and lower rubber bushing onto the new spring, and then just pop it all back together. Front is where it gets tricky. We do have to lower the subframe for the strut to pop out of the knuckle. That's always annoying. And of course we have to remove all of these plastics. So I'm gonna help him with that. Just get these trays off, so save some time, because it's really just a ton of clips. This piece actually replaces that piece right there, as you can see. So that one is non-adjustable, meaning you can't add any additional negative camber. The front does not have camber plates on the top, so that's why we have to remove the guide pin as well to angle that more inwards and angle this more outwards, and that will allow us to tilt the wheel this way. And the reason we want to do that is because as we're taking turns on the track, the contact patch on the tire will be touching the ground when you're turning really hard, so you're gonna have more traction. So that was actually another reason why I decided to do lowering springs versus full-on coilovers, because all of this that you see here is cheaper put together than just one set of a decent coilover. Like the Öhlins coilover, the DFE, the dual flow valve, those I think retail for like $2,800. Plus you have to buy the EDC cancelers so that you don't get the light for the adaptive suspension. So that's like another $450. And then you have to get the Saki Bomb top hats, which if you want front and rear, I think that's $1,000, $4 grand all in, just for a set of nice coilovers with adjustable camber. Or you could do the Swift springs, which gives you 20mm drop all around, plus sway bar, plus the white line camber kit, plus the caster kit, brakes and everything for less than that. So I think that was really the best way to go. So we got that rear sway bar out, had to drop the springs first, obviously, to make enough room to wiggle out that sway bar. So AJ's putting together the new one with the bushings and greasing them. So while we're here, we're gonna do the subframe rigid collar install too. As we drop each bolt from the subframe and lower it down, we're gonna put these collars onto the bottom of the bolt and the top. And what that's gonna do is prevent the subframe from moving around. Got the springs installed up nice in there. Make sure the little rubber nipples are coming out of the bottom. Putting in the end links now. We did all the rigid collars on the rear subframe, so you can see the chrome piece right here up there. So there's one on the bottom, one on the top, and it keeps the subframe from moving around. We did it on both sides. Torque goes down to 100 Newton meters. So the rear lower control arm, this piece is getting replaced with a whole white line unit and a way stiffer bushing. The adjustable ball joints we're putting in, so that has to come out too. If you guys want to do a downpipe in the near future, pretty easy job. Just gotta take that all out again. And then here's the front pipe. This piece goes all the way up and over, comes out over here. But the front pipe does not transfer over from the FK8, so make sure you don't order one for that. The downpipe does, so you can get an FK8 downpipe. This is that caster rear control arm piece that I was showing you earlier. So this is the lower control arm, this is the rear part. Upgraded bushing, upgraded mounts. Take that bolt out, take these bolts out. This I think has to come out entirely because this is pressed into the control arm, so this has to be removed. Borrowed the Focus RS. We're going to get some axle nuts from Honda. So far this thing's pretty cool. It's got good turning feel, handling is nice, very sharp. It's got some pops on the D-cell. Made it to the Honda dealer, Scott Honda of Westchester, PA. We got our 2 axle nuts, OEM. These were only $8 each, which is not bad at all. Really nice Honda. They have a security booth at the front to check in. And then once you go into the parts department, they have like a whole like cafe where you can buy hot dogs, pizza, chicken fingers, fries. It was like cheap too, like $2 for a pizza. Anyways, we gotta get some gas for the Focus. First impressions, this car is nice. The handling is great, the engine is great, transmission's all right, the brakes are great. It feels like an awesome trackable car. Very responsive, like the torque is there down low. I think this would be a good contender for the Type R on the track. You weren't joking about taking the whole front end off. Well, there you go. That's how we do the springs. Took the whole entire front knuckle off. So now you got easy access to everything to do the control arm. All right, so update. We got the passenger side lower control arm completely removed so that we can do the bushing install. So with everything out of the way, you know, this adjustable ball joint easily accessible. There's one torque bolt. You got the whole front end assembly here. This is the passenger side. So really, you don't need to do all this to do the springs. All you have to do is take this bolt out, take that bolt out, lower the subframe a little bit, and this should slide out of the knuckle. To do the rest of the work that we had to do, we had to take this out. And then here are the new bushings, polyurethane, and then these slide into this part. Camber plates are on. Unfortunately, this piece is not going to work out for this chassis. The clearance is not there, as you can see. It's off by like ½ an inch. This will not go up in here. FK8 anti-lift piece does not go on the FL5, unfortunately. So we got to put it a little back. These are actually directional, so make sure you put the right ones on. It will say front right or front left on the spring itself. All right, got the front end basically all buttoned up. Lower the car on some race blocks so that we can tighten up the control arm. You never want to do that when the car is raised up, because then once you lower the car, it'll rip all the bushings and your car will probably sit pretty high up. Make sure you lower the car before you tighten the control arm. We have the white line adjustable camber plates fully maxed out. We have the guide pins on the top of the struts pulled out, so we should have max negative camber on both sides. And this, unfortunately, we could not change out because the FK8 part is not compatible on the FL5 because there's not enough clearance for the subframe there. So we'll have to wait until FL5 spec comes out if we ever want to do that again. Everything else went in smoothly. We have all the Magic rigid collar shims installed. So there was a total of 7 bolts on each side. Some of them require 2, one on the top, one on the bottom, and some like these only require 1. So in total, the whole car took 30 different rigid collars. The brake lines we didn't get to, and we're gonna have to do the rear pads probably another day as well. We still have about 20 days until 15 days till next track day, so we have time to get the suspension settled in, get a wheel alignment, and do all the brakes. Looks sick. It's a good fit. Yeah, that toe is atrocious in the front. See how bad the toe out is right now because we did the camber ball joints. So we're not gonna be able to align it today, but we're just gonna try to get it as best to 0 as possible by eyeballing it. So all we gotta do is just crack the nuts on that tie rod there. Yep. And then extend it out so that the back end of the wheel straightens out like this. All right, moment of truth. Let's see how it angles out when it goes down to the ground. I don't think it changed. Like when it lowered, I don't think it went in or out. Oh, that's way better. It's still definitely a little bit out, but it's definitely drivable. Oh yeah, much better. So huge shout out to AJ and Wistar Motors for getting the suspension done on the Type R. It absolutely looks insane right now. I think the drop is perfect, 20 millimeters all around. There's no wheel gap at all. With the 3-point-something degrees of negative camber in the front, it's just enough tuck so that it doesn't rub in the front, and we'll have some good traction on the turns for the track day. But I'm really happy with how this came out. So gotta do a shakedown test, drive it for a couple hundred miles, check for any noises, check the bolts again, make sure they're tight, and then we can get it aligned. Yeah, so we couldn't get everything installed today. That's fine. We have a couple more weeks to do the brakes, and so we gotta do the pads, the lines, and the brake fluid. So we'll do that all at once when we have time. Obviously get the wheels aligned before the track day, and I think this car is all set for suspension. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now you guys know what fits, what doesn't fit, and that'll save you guys in the long run. And as always, make sure you check out the links in the description below if you want to buy any of these parts. We have them all on our website, buyyour.build. See you in the next one. Make sure you like and subscribe.